Yay! Hello folks. I told you I worked in a helicopter factory, didn't I? But I was no pilot. Most brilliant little device. Jennifer gave it to me as a Christmas present, and I love this helicopter. I tell you, I love it. It is so cool, and it really is fully functionally radio controlled, and it takes a bashing. Anyway, what's that got to do with the price of eggs, you might say? Well, not a lot actually. It just happens to be Sunday. Anyway, what I was doing, I was just here, and yeah, I was just trimming off some of these bowls. In fact, there's a bowl. I'm not sure if it's the actual bowl that, because I've got some more bowls up there, as you see. I'm not sure if it was the actual bowl you saw me doing just recently, but anyway, I'm just in the process of trimming the fella. So yeah, he's upside down on the wheel there, and so he's got a fairly narrow foot. And well, similar, I suppose, to the one I showed you originally. You see, we may go. These have a very narrow foot, and really not a practical bowl for eating out of or anything like that. It's more of a decorative bowl. So these are decorative bowls, and so when you throw these kind of bowls, once you get into the swing of them, you begin to be able to get some consistency in the thickness of the wall here. One thing you may notice is the important thing with these bowls is there's a continuous curve. All right, it's an uninterrupted curve. No corners in the bottom here at all. That's very important visually, that you don't see that. It's just a continual. So at the moment I'm using my trim tool and just looking for the shape that I want. I should be using that batch, shouldn't I? That we with the green. So I've got to eyeball it, you see, to make sure it is running true, and that's something that you can train your eye. And with practice you will be able to see it. When you start out you can't really see it whether it's on center or not, but and you get your eye in a bit, you see, you see it. So just a skim up the side here, these gently they flare outwards, you see, just here. So I'm using the end of my, it's a rib actually, I'm just using the end of it because it's got a little gentle curve there, you see, and I can use that just there where I want it. I can't use this really because it's too big a curve, but that's just got a little curve on the end, you see, and that just enables me to just to flare it out a little bit. Okay, so what I need to do is now the inside of the foot ring here is to hollow that out. So and just go in with the corner of the tool, cut down, you see, and now cutting across from the center outwards. Everybody cuts feet in a rather personal way, and there's not really a right way or a wrong way of doing it. It's just that you do it pretty much according to what feels right to you, you know. Sometimes I use my fingernail because I've got fingernails that are nice and round. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually take my finger like that, you see, because it's got that similar round, and just use my fingernail to finalize that curve there, you see. You see how my fingernail is shaving away the... You need to eat lots of molasses, you see, because molasses will strengthen your fingernails. All you lot out there who've got weak fingernails, you get some molasses into you, and then you'll develop some talons. Alright, so this is let me show you a couple of other ones I've done, just to show you that they're all a little bit different, you see. Now here's another one. So you see that's a different kind of foot, isn't it? This has a very definite, pronounced shoulder there, and then it's got it's a double curvature type. Well, you know, like that one is there. You see, you've got a convex there and a concave there. So you've got convex and concave working together, and then this is another one, and this is similar to what I'm doing here, where you've got the convex there and then the concave there, and they can be actually very graceful bowls, these. I've got another one over here that I did, smaller one, and this one I've fluted, you see, with my hacksaw blade, just scratching, carving. So these two are similar, you see, different design but similar shape. Now here's something to throw at you. Sometimes if you take a curve and put the curve sort of similar to the curve on the side of the pot, you find that it works sometimes quite well, I think. The combination of a certain curve on the side of a pot, and then you take that same curve and you repeat that in a decoration, you see. It's all about, as I said before, kind of linking the different parts of the pot together, and you know, because they're all part of the same family, and there you get an integration of the shape mirrored in the actual decoration, you see. I don't know. These are just things that I kind of like. I don't think about too deeply, really. But I mean, and yet I do think there is some, maybe there's some truth there in what makes up, you know, what are the qualities that make up a good pot? What is a good pot, in fact, you know? Now there's a thought, isn't there? What is a good pot? What constitutes a good pot? See, now this, because it's slightly delicate, I'm not going to whack this now to try to get it off the wheel because it's stuck down. Because if you do that, because it could be stuck down harder than you think, and you might come along and whack it like that, thinking you're going to release it, and all you do is you just crumple the side of the pot. So what you want to do is apply maximum contact area, okay, which is by doing like that and pushing, you see, with the heel of my hand like this, and maybe just gently rotate it. And now it's a case of just moving it to the side gradually and then flipping it over. Okay, so, well, you'll notice here, you see where it's been touching down on the wheel head, it's got a bit of clay stuck there, some of the shavings, you see. So what we're going to do is, actually before I do that, let me just feel through the thickness of the base here. Yeah, that's okay. Alright, so we're going to put him down on the wheel head with one hand in the center to keep him down, because this is a narrow-footed bowl and he can easily tip, you see. If I try and go like this with him going around, he'll go like that. So I'm going to keep him down with one hand and hit him low down here, alright? Not up here. I'm not trying to center him by tapping the rim. You want to center by tapping the base, okay? So I've got my two hands working together, you see. So what I want to do is, are we in the picture? Are we in the picture? We are in the picture, good. Right, I just want to, sometimes it's necessary to dress the rim, the edge here, because it may be rough for one reason or another, or because it's been face down, or you know, it got a bit. The edge of the pot is vulnerable and can be, you know, you can knock it if you're not careful, or dent it or whatever. So what I do is, after I've done the basic trimming, I'm now going to dress the edge here. That means it isn't going to go down face down again after that. So I'm going to take the tool, and I just take it in one hand like this, and I put that finger underneath the rim, and I put the tool over the top. And so what I'm doing now, and with this hand keeping the bowl down, I am just very, very lightly, you see that, just taking off a very, very small amount of material, clay. I knew that was what it was called, clay. The material of the clay. So, alright, so basically like that and like that. And you have to be a bit careful because he can pull off center like he is doing. Alright, but you just have to just do it very gentle. And just very softly shave away a little bit. Because sometimes with these bowls I like it to come to a nice termination here, you see. It's not that I want it to become a razor sharp point, I don't, but I just want to give it a little finesse. just at this point. Alright, that'll do, I think. It just takes this edge here and just brings it to a conclusion, you see. Right. The next thing I do is, I'll tell you what I don't do, and that is I don't take a sponge now and start going over the edge. Usually I don't, because the sponge will bring all of the grog in the clay to the surface, and that's not what you want right on the rim of a pot. And this clay does have some grog in it, so I have to be careful. There, I've just jabbed my finger now in the edge there, because I was careless. If you do that, if you bash a pot, turn your finger over, use your fingernail to smooth the mark, because your fingernail is a bit like a pebble from the riverbed, and your fingernail you can burnish with the back of your fingernail. So if you damage a pot, you put a gouge in it or something, get out your pebble on the back of your finger, you see, and just give it a very gentle, nurture it back to shape, or, you know, heal the wound, you see. Okay, so what the next thing I do is I don't use a sponge, just dip a couple of fingers in the water and just gently do that a couple of times and just re-wet the rim, you see, like I'm doing. Alright, and that's it. Now what that will do effectively is seal the rim, because having used the trim tool here just to the trim tool cuts, you see, but it drags up as well, catches in bits of grog, makes the surface rough. I don't want to make it even rougher by using a sponge. What I want to do is seal it down again, you see. Now you can, as I say, use the back of your finger nail, even if you haven't jabbed it, you can still use the back of your fingernail as a sort of burnishing instrument, just to seal the edge and compress the edge a bit. And then just a little bit of water there now, just to make the edge strong and visually healthy. Okay folks, well that's it. There's another bowl. Now what we're going to do with that I don't know quite yet. Maybe we'll flute it, I'm not sure. Or maybe just possibly leave it to dry. There they are, a couple of bowls, ornate